If you're here watching this video, then you're a true gamer. Whether you play on PC, Xbox, PlayStation, or Nintendo, I would assume you're mature enough to want every game to be great. That would only mean that you have endless possibilities of enjoying yourself. And that might not be the case for some people, but today I want to talk about something that's very important that I think can help those who don't appreciate all of these different iterations that we've gotten. You go back in the past, they had PCs and they had different consoles. The Atari, one of the most memorable, and then Super Nintendo, and Sega came along, and then Sega died out. But PlayStation took the reins. Nintendo continued their reign as well. And shortly after, Xbox came along. Today we're going to be talking about the whole experience that we've gotten and where we're at today, because it has been a wild ride in the last 24 hours. Phil Spencer has been speaking and kind of just really blew the hinges out of these doors. No more narratives. There's zero narratives. PlayStation, Xbox, all of the console wars is dead. I know it's a lot of fun to be online and kind of debating. I've never been into that, but hey, it is what it is, right? Your storyline about Sony or Xbox or Nintendo, all of these consoles, all they're doing is providing entertainment. So for me, I'm happy with whatever game is good on whichever console, regardless of the price, regardless of all of the things that we'll debate. What is a better deal? They have this, they have that, and this one specs are better, or the game's resolution is higher. No one cares. In the end of the day, the biggest important thing is that you enjoy yourself. And I think that's what we need to focus on. So for me personally, I want to put aside all of that. And I want to talk about Xbox and where they've gotten to and how did we get here. First of all, Xbox has been phenomenal. When they first came out, they were blowing things up, and a big part of creating not only the console wars, but the fact that exclusives were important. Nintendo realized, hey man, we need to conquer with our Mario series, with our Zelda. We have to take over with these products that is only on our systems. We're not giving them away no matter what. And they continue their reign. PlayStation did the similar thing, creating endless amounts of from part one and part two of classics that they were the pioneers for on their platforms. But PlayStation also allowed a lot of their games to go to other platforms throughout the years. And that's where Xbox kind of took over by bringing us Halo, Gears of War, and Forza at the start of their reign. One of the most powerful things, basically taking everybody's money and time with these fun games that we all loved when they first released. And, one of the coolest things was, guys like Phil Spencer and others saying exclusives are what matter. We're going to make the best exclusives. And while this was true for most of the time, when we got to the Xbox One and beyond, it pretty much died down, and they weren't offering everything that they needed. They kind of alienated people. And there was a big joke, and I don't want to kind of harp on this, about different things that Xbox was doing very wrong. And they're focusing on, hey, let's watch some cable, and hey, you want to play with the camera. And none of these things are bad. They're innovative, but they're not focusing on what we love, which is better games. And so I believe what happened was Microsoft got in the way of Xbox. When Xbox originally came out, it was for the gamers, and it was, hey, give me more exclusives, give me more exciting things to want to buy the next console. And if you're a real gamer, like I said in the beginning, it doesn't matter what console you buy, at least not for me personally. The way I think is, hey, Nintendo has something cool, I'm gonna buy a console just for that one game, Zelda, Breath of the Wild, or Mario, whatever. Or same thing with PlayStation. Oh my god, the God of War, the new Last of Us is coming out, I gotta get that system. Whatever it is that excites you, you should be able to purchase it. And the problem was Xbox moved over to the Game Pass, where it was just like, hey, you can get games for free, There's 700 of them in here, and it's like we're not gonna play all those games. What people don't realize is those subscriptions are fun and they're good to have, but most people work 9 to 5s and they come home and play for 2 hours. So they're not going to be able to keep up with some of these old games that you have to spend 80 hours in just to play. So it's one of those things where people will stick to the games they love and they're better off purchasing them for the most part. Do we want these subscription services? Yes. I know people think that, Netflix did it and all these other companies are doing it. Well, gaming is different than TV. TV is just something you watch real quick and you're done. But a game, you can play 500 hours of some battle royale and never get tired of it. And then now you're missing out on a whole library. And so Xbox went and purchased, again, Activision and so much more. But they went crazy with their purchases and they basically blew their bank. And they're unable to keep up giving exclusives. And they realize, hey man, we're not selling consoles anymore. We're literally the last of our platform. And that's something that Phil Spencer said. You know, we're the last console sellers. We're third place. Nintendo and PlayStation, we can't outsell them when it comes to consoles. And this is something he said about 2 years ago, I believe in 2022. And it was outrageous, to be honest, because it's like, okay. And then he would also say things like, oh, we're getting exclusives. We're trying to make exclusives, but still give the games to everybody. So the message wasn't very clear because it was confusing to me. Like, hey, man, I want to buy another Xbox. I want to buy the next one that comes out whenever, in a couple years. I would love to buy it, but what is exciting that I'm getting it for? Because if it's to play multi-platform games, I'm going to stay on PC or maybe PlayStation, right? Like, what is the reasons to get the next console? I don't see it right now, and it hasn't been coming out. And while you could say Call of Duty and, you know, those are multi-platform games. And so this is where all of these narratives that Phil Spencer was spinning didn't make sense for us as human beings. And this is something that I was frustrated with because it's like, just be real. Xbox is not selling more consoles. You admitted that. Now you're trying to act like you still want to make exclusives, but that's not going to sell your console. And now what they said in this week, yesterday, was, hey, we are not able to not put these games on other platforms. We're going to put them on Nintendo. We're going to put them on PlayStation. And just to kind of help you scream at the top of your lungs about this, I'm going to read off word for word, right, from what Phil Spencer said just a day ago. He says, I'm not trying to move them over to the Xbox anymore. Just allowing more people to play. And this was him talking about PlayStation and Nintendo. All of their games will be coming basically to PlayStation and Nintendo for the most part. And while this is not breaking news because they've already been doing that, issue is he's waving the flag and completely committing to that. And secondly, the bigger issue is that, you know, the PlayStation logo, Nintendo logos, he basically also stated that he wants to show that those games are multi-platform so that they can sell more on whatever platform people want to get them. And hey man, that's cool and all, Phil, but all these people that I've watched on the internet attack each other with their console wars, which I'm not a part of, by the way. I've seen the war between them and I always thought how ridiculous they are, but I also could understand somebody that's a big Xbox fan defending it and saying it's the best and that Game Pass is the best subscription and Xbox still has good exclusives and that I just want to play on Xbox. There's a lot of those people, millions out there. But the problem is you're basically selling salt to a slug because you're saying, hey man, don't even waste your money. You can play all those games on your PC or your PlayStation 5. And you know, my library on PlayStation 5 is probably over 500 games on the PlayStation 5. And then, my other systems don't really have that many. They're probably like 100 is more. Understand, I do review games and all this, but I don't count those as my library. Those are just review games that I basically working when I do this content. But Xbox has everything mixed up for the fans. And the question in this video is, can they make another console? And will it sell? Is it even worth it for them to make one at this point from everything that they're saying? And then secondly, it's like, hey, why not just move people to PC if you know that you're cooked on your consoles and you're not going to sell as much as PlayStation or Nintendo? Just let it go and let everyone go to PC so that they won't have to go back and forth. And they could stay on PC and play all their games on PC and have some of the Xbox games. And then the PlayStation guys do the same. I don't know what you're missing out on if you're an Xbox person, when it comes to Nintendo or PlayStation exclusives. I don't know what you're missing out on either side. So like, if I'm an Xbox guy, do I really know how good God of War is or The Last of Us, or does it matter to me? Probably not, because I don't know what I'm missing out. And I think the problem here is, like, we're at this point now where you're not going to feel that I'm missing out anyways, because Xbox is cooked. Phil Spencer continues to flip his words as you're watching some of this footage about things he's said in the past and the stuff he's already said now today. And what I'm talking about today was something he just said yesterday on February 16th. And so 2025, by the way. But it is so outrageous to me to try to think about this and wrap it up for you guys in a way that can have a resolution. And so I honestly, for any Xbox fan who's like hardcore defending him, everything like they have for years, and there's plenty of them on my YouTube channel, because I've gotten people calling me a fanboy and that I hate Xbox sometimes. And I'm like, when did I ever say that I dislike Xbox? Just because I said I dislike the direction that things are going? And it isn't until today now where this video is pretty much an I told you so to those people that this was happening. I said it over 10 years ago that Xbox is slowly looking like it's turning into Sega. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. Sega is one of the greatest console makers, in my opinion. They were so creative, they did so many fun things, and they pushed the genre forward. But that doesn't mean that they didn't die out and that they didn't turn into a third-party producer or publisher. And I think that's what Xbox is becoming. It's gonna just be Microsoft putting out games on PC and PlayStation and Nintendo. And then they don't need to make a console. They're gonna make more money just putting out some of those games for other systems. Now, will their exclusives be good or better? We don't know that. It's game for game, and we can't justify what makes a great game until they release, right? But I can say, Xbox Game Pass, aka Microsoft Game Pass, or whatever it's going to be called in the future, can be a fun thing that people will say, hey man, $10, I'll try it out. Let me go check out these old Gears of War games and try to run through the whole series. Or are they going to bring a new one out? Let me play the old ones and then go into the new one, buy it on my PC or PlayStation or Xbox or Nintendo, I mean. And so this is where it's at, unfortunately. And there's a lot of delusion still, delusional people on social media defending this whole statement that Phil Spencer said. And I don't want to roast people, but it's pretty outrageous. I mean, it's actually totally outrageous. And so I just don't know no more. But there's something that he said again. He says, let's just allow more people to play. Yes, the 70% that we make on games on other platforms is helpful to us. And so that's it. The white flag is up, and it's gonna happen. And what I would like to kind of point out is there's absolutely nothing wrong with knowing your worth and your value. Meaning, like, if PlayStation don't make good games, I'm not buying them. That's what reviews are for. That's what previews, and like, they have to market the game and get some footage. I don't just buy games without seeing gameplay. Even if it's my favorite series of all time, I look at it and I see, damn, that doesn't look too good. That's not for me. I'm not getting that. And that's it. It's not because of the brand, not because of the studio. I know some of these developers. I'm friends with them. They call me. We play video games together with some of these guys. And I care less to try to be nice to them and purchase the game. I let them know sometimes, hey man, this game doesn't look good. I'm not going to get it. And sometimes they'll be like, I understand. Oh, here, I'm going to get you a copy anyways. Let me know what you think. And then I'm like, I don't really want to play it. I'll play a couple hours just to give you some feedback. And then I'll be a friend, play 4 or 5 hours and say, yeah, I told you, man, I'm really not feeling it. Sorry about that. And then that's it. We move on. And they're like, yeah, you know, I'm not going to talk about what they say back because it's private. But, you know, developers are just trying to make good games. And it's our choice. We got freedom to choose whether we want to pay for it or we don't. So when Nintendo, or for example, right now we're watching Horizon, which is one of my favorite series, but I have not played this Lego version. I don't really play the Lego games much. I think I only played like 2. One with my son, which was Batman back in the day. And then one with my homie Cloudy, which people know on my channel as my brother from another mother. But the point is it's not for me. You know, even though this looks pretty cool and badass memory, I'm playing what I feel and what I want and what I think is good. For example, this new Doom game, I'm definitely trying it. I think it's gonna be exciting. You know, nothing too crazy, but we're gonna try it out when it comes out. We have a new Gears of War. Hopefully that one as well. Do I know if it's gonna be great enough? There's no real gameplay breakdowns on that yet. When it comes out, I'll cover it and I'll let you know if I'm interested. On this channel, I'm luckily to not have to play anything or do a video for anything I don't want to, because I don't work for some corporation. I work for myself. Cover what I feel. Today's topic, I felt like just being real about Xbox and being open and hoping that you see my sincerity, that you should just focus on what you love and enjoy what you love. Don't let nobody tell you what to play. Don't get stuck on a brand. Just enjoy what you feel. Turn it off. Go hang with the family if you don't like it. All right? That's my message. I hope you guys are healing Xbox community. And, you know, PC gamers or PlayStation or Nintendo, please be kind to these Xbox guys that are going to end up transferring over to a different platform in the future. They deserve love. They deserve peace. They deserve joy. Even in my comments, have some respect, show some kindness, and be good. All right, be good to yourself too. Y'all take care. God bless.